What's up, Braves country? Let me ask you a serious question. Do you truly trust this front office? Do you really believe they are willing to go all in and break the bank to protect the World Series window we earned? Or are we going to watch another year where structural flaws cost us the postseason? Enough with the excuses. The time is now. The Atlanta Braves, a team that lives to win and enforces the chop on. Every pitch has two massive holes in the roster that need to be filled with gold. The starting rotation is unhealthy and lacks depth, and the shortstop position offensively has become an embarrassment. The USA Today predictions just dropped, and if they come true, the payroll is set to explode, and we are bringing in two game-changing free agents. The goal is clear to spend about $50 million more per season, and Bob Nightingale, pulling no punches, named the players. Prepare yourself, because the audacity is insane. We are talking about Bo Bichette and Dylan Cease. Yes, you heard that right. The cost. Spotrac estimates Bichette will cost $233 million annually for 8 years, totaling $1,864 million, and Cease $264 million for 7 years, totaling $1,848 million. These two signings alone fulfill the financial mission. But hold on, fans. Not everything is sunshine and roses at SunTrust Park. When healthy, Bo Bichette transforms our shortstop position from one of the worst offenses to one of the best in MLB, elevating our lineup to the stratospheric level the chop-on demands. The bat, in theory, is worth the investment, but there is a price. His injury history is real, and his defense is a complete liability. Paying top dollar for a shortstop who defends poorly and might be better suited as a designated hitter, as the Blue Jays already tested, is a risk only the offense can justify. Does the increase in offense truly offset the total loss of quality defense, which neither Nick Allen nor Ha-Seong Kim would cause? Now look at the mound, our biggest shame. Bryce Elder led the team with a meager 27 starts and 156, and 1-3 innings pitched last season. That is not the stat line of a title contender. Nightingale's answer for the rotation is Dylan Cease, the workhorse from Milton, Georgia. Cease had a down year, but he delivered something our starting staff could not: innings, and more innings. He made 32 starts and pitched 168 innings last season and up to 189 and 1-3 in his best year. He is the innings machine we need. The big problem: he is a Scott Boras client and breaking that tradition of not signing his. Free agents would be an unprecedented milestone in this heavy investment offseason. Two signings that signal we are serious about reclaiming the NL East crown and chasing the World Series. But is it worth throwing off the balance of everything else, like the closer spot and designated hitter, just to get these two names? The baseball world stopped with this news, and the Atlanta Braves fan needs to take a deep breath because the smell of victory is in the air. The 2024 season is in the rearview mirror, and the sting of elimination still burns. The team that rules the National League East Division chop on cannot be satisfied with just another division title. We need the ring, and friends, the buzz has started. USA Today dropped the bomb: Bob Nightingale's prediction, Bo Bichette and Dylan Cease in an Atlanta Braves uniform. This isn't a silly rumor. It's a clear signal, if the prediction is accurate, that the front office is finally willing to open the vault and solve the two most urgent structural problems in the roster: an offensive shortstop and a starting pitcher who can handle pitching volume. The expectation is that the Atlanta Braves will increase their payroll this offseason, and these two free agent signings would transform the team from an already powerful contender into an undeniable World Series favorite. Let's start with Bo Bichette. The shortstop has an injury history, it's true, which raises an immediate yellow flag, but when healthy, he would transform the shortstop position. Currently, one of the team's worst offensively into one of the best in the league, an attack that perfectly aligns with our destructive lineup philosophy. Bichette's bat is elite. Spotrac has fixed his market value at $233 million per season on a massive 8-year contract totaling $1,864 million. That is the price of a superstar who would come in to be the center of the infield. But in this move, the risk is proportional to the return. The text warns the defense would suffer something the Atlanta Braves have avoided in that position in recent years. This defensive deficiency is why there is speculation that we should avoid Bichette. Are we willing to pay this astronomical amount for someone who theoretically would perform better as a designated hitter? We have seen the value of defense in modern baseball with names like Gold Glove finalist Nick Allen and Ha-Seong Kim, who offer impressive defensive balance even without the same offensive power. The big question is, does Bichette's huge increase in offensive production really compensate for the total loss of quality defense in the infield? It's a high-risk bet the Braves need to make if they want to elevate the offense to an even more insane level. Jumping to the mound, we have the Dylan Cease prediction. The highest priority is clear. We need a reliable arm that goes deep into games and spares our bullpen. Cease is coming off a below-expectation season, which could be a negotiating point, but he offers the volume that no Braves starter managed to deliver in 2024, especially due to health issues. Cease's 32 starts and 168 innings pitched would have put him in the lead for our team ahead of Bryce Elder, our leader, with 27 starts and 156 and 1.3 innings. At his best, Cease pitched 189 and 1.3 innings, and the variation in his numbers is rarely due to health problems. If the Braves want a workhorse pitcher, Cease is a consistent option. There is also the emotional appeal. He is an Atlanta native from Milton, Georgia, which adds the coming home factor. However, the cost and pedigree bring concerns. His market value, according to SpotRack, is $264 million per year, suggesting a 7-year contract totaling $1,848 million. He is also a Scott Boras client. If the Braves want to break the long-standing tradition of not signing Boras clients, this would be the time when the team plans a huge investment. The financial side of this free agent duo is a crucial point. If the Braves intend to increase the payroll by around $50 million per season, these two signings, Bichette and Cease alone, would meet that goal. We are talking about a combined annual investment of nearly $50 million, which would force the front office to be extremely creative to cover the roster's other gaps. And the list of gaps doesn't stop. We need a closer even with Raisel Iglesias' contract extension still being a variable, and of course the designated hitter position since Marcell Ozuna is a free agent. It will be a financial and roster management tightrope walk, worthy of a World Series. The hypothetical signing of Bichette and Cease would undoubtedly signal that the Braves are taking the recovery and title pursuit extremely seriously, willing to invest where necessary. Solving the chronic problem of pitching volume and boosting the offense with one of the best bats in the league are moves that echo the ambition of the fans. Whether these signings will achieve the ultimate goal, only time will tell, but the buzz has definitely started and the chop on will deafen the league. Time is running out, and Braves country needs concrete action. It is not enough to dominate the National League East Division year after year only to fail in the October that truly matters. The payroll will increase. That is the promise, and now is the time for the front office to honor our winning legacy. Chop on the USA. Today, prediction coming from Bob Nightingale is explosive and targets exactly where it hurts. Bo Bichette for shortstop and Dylan Cease for the starting rotation. This signals that the Atlanta Braves are indeed serious about recovering our title, targeting the two biggest roster needs. If the plan is to increase the budget by $50 million per season, these two players alone could consume that margin, given the market estimate for both. Bichette solves the biggest offensive deficiency we've had. Transforming shortstop from an offensive black hole into one of the lineup's strongest points is tempting. The text says that when healthy, he would transform the position into one of the team's best offenses. His bat is worth the investment even with the shadow of his injury history. The market cost, according to SpotRack, is very high, an estimated $233 million per season on an 8-year contract totaling $1,864 million. That is the price of a star. But what about the elephant in the room? The defense. The text literally says the defense would suffer something the Braves were not used to at that position. This deficiency led to speculation that we should avoid the signing. We would have an explosive offense, but with the total loss of defensive quality we saw in guys like Gold Glove finalist Nick Allen or Ha-Seong Kim. The dilemma is, does the massive production at the plate compensate for the defensive fragility? Are we going to pay a premium shortstop contract for a guy who might perform better as a designated hitter, as the Blue Jays even tested during the postseason, but we always expect victory, and Bichette is an offensive transformer. On the other hand, the starting rotation cries out for a workhorse, an arm that delivers quality innings without failing. Cease is coming off a below-expected season. Yes, but he delivers what we didn't have: volume and consistency of starts. His 32 starts and 168 innings pitched would have put him in the lead for our roster last season, surpassing Bryce Elder, who had 27 starts and 156 and 1-3 innings. In his best year, Cease reached 189 and 1-3 innings pitched. The variation in Cease's volume is rarely due to injury. He has had at least 32 starts in every full season since 2020. He is a reliable arm to start games, and there's the cherry on top. The emotional side: Cease is a Georgia native born in Milton. A return home always has an appeal, but his market value is $264 million for 7 years. The problem is the agent. Cease is a Scott Boras client, and breaking the long tradition of not signing that specific group of players in a heavy investment offseason would be the ideal time. If the Braves want a pitcher who guarantees starts, Cease is one of the best options despite the weaker season. The financial reality is the most complex part. If the Braves really spend around $50 million per season on these two pieces, what do we do about the other urgent needs? We need a closer, and Raisel Iglesias' renewal is still on the table, and the designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, is a free agent, and we need a new DH. These two long-term signings, especially with Cease turning 30 next season, would be a financial juggling act that could leave other gaps open. Theoretically, the arrival of these two shows that the front office is taking the pursuit of the title very seriously. They fill the two biggest deficiencies in the team. Bichette brings the bat we need in the infield, and Cease brings the innings the rotation desperately needs. If this hypothetical and expensive gamble will bring the next trophy to our NL East domain, only time will tell, but the fans always expect victory, and these signings need to happen if we want the title. The dynasty is not built overnight, but the flame of victory burns strong here. The overwhelming force of our offense. The famous chop on is the certainty that the National League East Division is only the starting point. We don't wait for glory. We earn it with grit and talent. The season promises to be epic, and the will to win is non-negotiable every inning. To make sure you don't miss any detail of this march toward the World Series, subscribe to the channel. Now hit the bell for urgent notifications. And leave your opinion below. What is your home run prediction for the team this year? Let's debate. That's it. Chop on Country.